Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. Over 80 million court cases are filed in the US every single year. 80 million. Now, you might think those records are securely locked away somewhere, only accessible to high-powered attorneys with incredibly deep pockets. But the truth is, unlocking access to these records totally empowers you. Whether you're diving into vital legal research, mapping out a really complex family tree for genealogy, or maybe just keeping a watchful eye on your local community, knowing how to find this information is an absolute game changer. So today, we're going to walk you through exactly how to search Chester County court records online. And the best part? It's completely for free.
So, why should you even care about public court records? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. Court records aren't just a boring collection of dusty legal filings. No way. They are the official, empowering history of a community. They track exactly how disputes are resolved, how justice is administered, and they offer this really vital window of transparency into the whole judicial process. Accessing them literally puts the power of information directly into your hands. But hey, before we just start wildly typing names into search bars, we've got to address a kind of hilarious geographic twist. There isn't just one Chester County in the United States. There are three. Yes, three totally different Chester counties, and each one has its own completely unique legal framework, electronic filing system, and public access policies. You've got Chester County in Pennsylvania, one in South Carolina, and, yep, one in Tennessee. To make sure we don't end up completely lost in the wrong state's database, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the power of public court records, finding the right Chester County, understanding record types, our step-by-step search guide, some pro tips and troubleshooting, and finally, access rules and compliance. All right, Section 1, the power of public court records, the true history of your community. The source material actually sums this up perfectly. It states that court records preserve the official history of legal proceedings and promote transparency in judicial decisions. I absolutely love that. It brilliantly illustrates why these systems even exist in the first place. You see, fair review and public access form the absolute foundation of our justice system. Without open records, there is simply no accountability. Moving right along to Section 2, finding the right Chester County. Because, as we just learned, geography really matters. Take a look at the breakdown here. It clearly separates our three different jurisdictions. Like in South Carolina, you'd be using the public index for circuit and family courts. Down in Tennessee, you'd head to the state portal for appellate records. But for the rest of this explainer, we're going to zero in entirely on Chester County, Pennsylvania, which relies on the UJS portal and a localized system called ChescoPin for its common pleas and magisterial courts. Next up, Section 3, understanding court record types, specifically civil versus criminal in Pennsylvania. Okay, let's use a quick library analogy, because it really helps visualize this. You wouldn't look for a cookbook in the sci-fi section, right? It's the exact same deal in Chester County, Pennsylvania. If you are looking for criminal, traffic, or magisterial cases, you go to the free UJS web portal. But if you want civil cases, we're talking contract disputes, divorces, or name changes, those are handled by the prothonotary. That's essentially just the chief clerk for civil cases, by the way, and those live on a localized system called ChescoPin. Remote access to ChescoPin does require a paid subscription, though you can access it for free at local library terminals. But for our step-by-step walkthrough today, we are going to focus entirely on the totally free UJS web portal. Now, before we actually start searching, let's quickly demystify some of the legal jargon. You're going to hear the word docket thrown around a lot. What is it? Well, a court docket is simply the official schedule and case listing record of all proceedings, filings, and actions in a specific case. Basically, just think of it as a super detailed timeline or logbook of everything that has happened in that specific courtroom drama. All right, the moment we've been waiting for. Section 4, Step-by-Step Search Guide, navigating the UJS portal. So here are the four broad strokes. You're going to navigate to the portal, access the case search menu, choose how you want to search, and then input your criteria. Sounds super simple, right? Well, knowing exactly which fields to use is literally what separates a frustrating pull-your-hair-out search from a wildly successful one. So let's put this into practice. When you first pull up the site, the great news is you don't even need to create an account. You just click the Search By dropdown and select Participant Name. Now, for our sample run today, let's look for a guy named Gerald Wilkes. Here is the absolutely crucial part, though. Step 2. You have to make sure you select Chester under the county dropdown. If you skip that, you'll be searching the entire state of Pennsylvania, which is definitely not what we want.
Then, just input the first and last name. Once you hit search, the results grade you get back brilliantly illustrates exactly how the courts organize their data. When scanning Gerald's results, look out for a docket number formatted something like CP-15-CR. That format actually tells you a whole lot. CP stands for Court of Common Pleas. The 15 is the specific unique county code for Chester County. And CR, that indicates it's a criminal case. See? Once you know the code, it's super easy to read. Now, to actually see the juicy details of the case, you want to look over at the document icons associated with your search results. Usually, it's a small icon with a D on it. If you hover over that blue magnifying glass or document icon and select Docket Sheet, well, boom, that's your final breakthrough step. Clicking that instantly opens up a PDF of the complete chronological event timeline for that specific case.
Moving on to Section 5, Pro Tips and Troubleshooting, Getting Precise Results.
So let's say you search by a really common name. You might honestly get flooded with duplicate results. The pros of a name search: sure, it's super easy. The cons? Just the sheer overwhelming volume of data you have to sift through. So, if you happen to have any prior paperwork on hand, we highly recommend searching by docket number or the OTN. That's the offense tracking number assigned by police. These numbers are highly precise and totally unique. If you type in an exact OTN, you will get exactly one specific case back, completely eliminating all the guesswork. But, what if you only have a name and you're just totally overwhelmed with pages of results? Don't panic. The system actually has a built-in solution for this. Just look for the Advanced Search checkbox right there on the main search screen. Checking that box is a total game changer. It allows you to filter by specific date filed, start and end dates, or even by case status like open or closed. Oh, and here's another rapid-fire pro tip for you. The Pennsylvania Judiciary actually provides a free mobile app called PA Docket for quick, on-the-go searches right from your phone. A quick technical note here, though. Whether you're searching on a desktop or your mobile device, always ensure you are using a secure, private internet connection when viewing sensitive court documents. Definitely avoid public Wi-Fi for this stuff. And finally, a crucial timing note. If a case literally just happened, you gotta be patient. There is typically a 2 to 4 week delay between a physical preliminary hearing and the electronic generation of that record on the portal. Okay, let's get into Section 6, Access Rules and Compliance, Using Records Ethically. So, the most crucial thing to remember here is that while this system is incredibly open and useful, it definitely has its boundaries. First off, the UJS portal is absolutely not a legal replacement for an official Pennsylvania State Police criminal history background check. Second, you have to know that not everything is public. Vulnerable populations are protected, which means juvenile matters, domestic protection cases, and certain sensitive family law proceedings are heavily restricted or completely sealed. Finally, court schedules and digital systems naturally change over time. You should always verify critical hearing times or specific details directly with the Chester County Clerk of Courts. And that naturally brings us to a very necessary professional note. Please remember, the information provided in this explainer is for informational purposes only, and it does not constitute legal advice. Court processes and websites evolve, so we highly encourage you to always stay updated with any changes through the official county resources. Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today, from finding the exact right jurisdiction to completely mastering those advanced search filters on the UJS portal. You literally now have the tools you need to navigate Chester County's legal history with absolute confidence. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. In an era of instant data, how will you use your new access to the public record? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and happy researching.